3, 2, you.
All right. So how many of you guys got that really awesome grandpa that takes you fishing? A couple of you?
Mine
All right.
died, thanks.
Well, if you're like me, your grandpa's the worst fisherman in the world. And you got to find other people to fish with. But that being said, I have been fishing since I was about this big. I don't know how old that was. Probably 6 I was that tall, but you know. So I've been fishing at Houghton Lake for 3 or 4 years now. Only 2 years I've been ice fishing up there, but I'm not going to talk to you today about ice fishing. Houghton Lake, primary game species is walleye, and if you've ever fished for walleye, it's kind of a tricky subject. They're not really, it's not like bluegill fishing where you throw a worm out there, you know, you can catch fish all day. It's pretty difficult. Start out with basically out of the lake. You've got this huge lake, by the way. You can hardly see across from it. You got a boat launch there and a boat launch there. I usually go in this one. If anybody in my spots, I'll be forced to do something about it. So, I prefer to fish off the point here. This is Houghton Point, is what I call it. I don't know what locals call it. Basically, there's a huge 4-foot flat, and at the edge of the 4-foot flat, it'll go to 6 foot for I don't know, a couple hundred yards. It's a pretty big area. Then after that, it'll go from 8 to 12 foot. The 8 to 12 foot drop is where you're going to want to fish. And if you can find a weed line on your GPS in the 8 to 12 foot drop, that's where you want to be. Fish find depth changes and weed lines to be structured, and they like hide in it, so that's where the bait fish are going to be, which is where the gang fish are going to be. There's a couple different ways to catch walleye. Now at Houghton Lake, you can use, there's two different, there's jigging, which you take a jig head, you put a minnow or a leech or a night crawler on there, and you just jig up and down. This is for more areas where there's more weeds and stuff. You can get in between the weeds to look for fish, where somewhere where a crankbait would get caught in a lot of weeds and you'd just be pulling weeds in and out. My favorite tactic for the lake is a little Rapala here. You tie him on your line, and then you get a barrel swivel, which is just a swivel with two ends, and you tie your main line to one, and then the leader with this on it to the other, and that's about 18 inches. And you put sinkers right above your barrel swivel, and you just troll with it. Nice thing about this is you can catch anything on it. I mean, it catches walleye, but you'll catch bass on it, and pike, and bluegills, and crappie will take it too. So, it's kind of a multi-species bait, but it works.
What makes
great.
it that way, though, dude? What makes it multi?
Just really, with this lure, it's the size. It's small enough that the smaller fish will bite onto it.
Okay.
But it's also, it's got vibrating action, and it swivels lots, and big fish like it too. And then you can also troll with crawler harnesses. You just put a night crawler on your 3 hooks, tie this to your line, and it spins. Because that's got a worm on it, that catches bluegill too. And right here, these, I don't know even exactly how I came upon them, but these are slow death hooks. It's just kind of like a crawler harness. It spins, but I don't know what it is about it that the fish like. We catch 12 times more fish on those than anything else in Houghton Lake. This area out in the middle of the lake is called the middle grounds. During the summer it gets real weedy. There's probably only this much water above the weeds. I mean, it's 6 foot deep here, but the weeds are all the way out to the top. So unless you're specifically targeting panfish, I'd stay away from that area. We troll up and down this here in the 8 to 12 foot area with those little crankbaits.
What are you guys in?
We have a boat.
What? No kidding. Wow. That's
Go hunt or go
insightful, dude.
home.
But I was curious, I see guys kayak fishing, I see guys in bass boats, you know, canoes.
No, this is it's a multi-species boat, so it's not quite a deep V or not a flat bottom, but it's in between.
Live well in it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
One night, for instance, we were trolling up in this area. We just did a little circle, maybe 200 yards, just a little circle with those slow death hooks. And the thing about Houghton Lake is it really fished. It gets fished a lot, so all the fish in there are either at, not all of them, but you know, they're either at the minimum size requirement or just under it. We caught 16 fish in an hour and a half. Only 4 of them were big enough to keep, but 16 fish is pretty good, because you can go days where you only catch 1 or 2 fish.
Hey, so question, DNR pulls up on you guys, and you have all those fish in your live well.
Oh, I wouldn't recommend it.
What happens?
Well, tickets, probably suspension of your fishing license, you know, court,
How much are the tickets likewise? Do you have any idea?
$500 to
Yeah,
$1,200.
okay, so it's not a cheap, stupid play.
Oh, no,
Okay.
definitely not. And maybe if you're lucky, he'll just tell you to put the fish back in the water, but that'd be really lucky. I wouldn't
I was
chance
gonna
it.
say, very, yeah.
Walleye have to be 15 inches long, and that's about it, I think.
Okay, well done.